Forget about truth, fairness, or logic. If you're here to learn how to absolutely crush your opponents in a debate, whether you're right or wrong, you've come to the right place. This isn't about finding common ground or learning something new. This is about winning. By the end of this, you'll have the tools to obliterate anyone who dares to challenge you. Let's dive in. Step 1. Exaggerate everything whenever your opponent says something. Blow it out of proportion. If they suggest a moderate idea, twist it into something extreme and ridiculous. Example, they say we should allow free speech. You respond, "Oh, so you think people should be allowed to scream fire in a crowded theater?" Why it works? It makes their point look absurd while making you seem like the voice of reason. Take their words, twist them into a caricature, and then attack that instead of their actual argument. This technique is called creating a straw man. Master it. The more outlandish you make their position look, the better. Step 2. Keep moving the goalposts. If someone starts to poke holes in your argument, don't panic. Just shift your stance. Example, you argue, dogs are dangerous. When challenged, you retreat to, well, certain breeds can be problematic. This is called the Mott and Bailey tactic. You lure them into fighting a bold claim, then retreat to a safer, unassailable one. When they give up, you push the bold claim again. It's like debating on quicksand. They can't keep up. The trick is to never let them settle into one argument. Keep them chasing you, and soon they'll get tired or frustrated enough to quit. Step 3. Overwhelm them with questions. Don't let your opponent get comfortable. Bombard them with a relentless stream of questions. Example, why do you support this? What about the historical consequences? Have you considered the ethical implications? How does this affect the economy? Keep them on their toes. Even the smartest person will falter if they're too busy juggling a dozen questions at once. If they stumble, pounce, and declare victory. People watching won't care if the questions were answered. They'll only see who looks more confident. Pro tip, make your questions sound intelligent and probing. This makes you seem like the deeper thinker, even if you're not. Step 4. Control the language words matter. Frame your position in a way that makes it sound noble, and paint your opponent's position as absurd. Instead of calling your idea puppy genocide, call it community safety reform. Instead of saying your opponent supports freedom of speech, frame it as promoting chaos and disorder. People are emotional creatures. They'll latch onto the connotations of your words, rather than the actual logic. Use this to your advantage. Make their argument sound dangerous or irresponsible, while yours seems like the obvious, sensible choice. Step 5. Weaponize common sense. The phrase common sense is a powerful tool. People trust it even when it's wrong. Example, you say, it's just common sense that strict rules keep us safe. Even if the evidence says otherwise, the phrase common sense makes people second-guess themselves. If your opponent tries to counter with facts or research, accuse them of overcomplicating things. Say something like, why make it so complicated? This is simple logic. People hate feeling stupid, and they'll side with the simpler explanation every time. Common sense is the ultimate trump card in any argument. Play it often. Step 6. Distract with emotion. If logic isn't on your side, lean into emotions. Outrage, fear, and humor are your best friends. Make them angry. Push their buttons until they lose their cool. An angry opponent looks irrational. Scare the audience. Say something like, if we don't act now, this will ruin everything. Crack jokes. If you make people laugh, they'll side with you, even if you're wrong. Remember, most people aren't paying attention to the actual argument. They're watching for entertainment. Be the star. Play the crowd like a conductor leading an orchestra. Step 7. Bury them in jargon or simplicity. Tailor your approach to your audience. If they're impressed by intelligence, throw out big words and complicated ideas to confuse your opponent. If they value straightforwardness, keep it simple and mock your opponent for being too academic. Example, well, according to the Dunning-Kruger effect, Your inability to grasp this concept stems from cognitive biases. Look, this isn't rocket science, it's just common sense. Either way, you win. They look like a fool, and you look like the smarter, more relatable one. Adaptability is your secret weapon here. Step 8. Play the victim. If all else fails, make yourself the underdog. People love rooting for the little guy. Example: I'm just trying to have a fair discussion, but I'm being attacked for my beliefs. This shifts the focus from the argument to how you're being treated. It's a great way to dodge tough questions and gain sympathy at the same time. Nobody wants to be seen as the bully, and your opponent will hesitate to press you too hard. Step 9. Never admit defeat. No matter what happens, never concede. Even if you're cornered, double down. Say something like, "You're not seeing the bigger picture. We'll just have to agree to disagree." If you refuse to back down, people might assume you have a point they're missing. Confidence is key. Remember, in the world of arguments, perception is reality. Stand tall, even when your logic is crumbling. Step 10. Leave on a high note end. Every debate with a memorable statement that makes you look like the winner no matter what happened. Example: at the end of the day, I stand for what's right, even if it's unpopular. Can you say the same? Mic drop. Walk away. Let the audience remember you as the bold, unshakable hero of the debate. The last impression often sticks the longest. Whether you've made the most brilliant argument of the century or just steamrolled your opponent with sheer bravado, the key is confidence. Even if the substance wasn't entirely there, act like it was. Because in the court of public opinion, perception is reality. In an ideal world, debates would be about finding the truth and learning from one another. Imagine a place where people listened with open minds, weighed evidence carefully, and worked together toward mutual understanding. But let's face it, the real world is messier. Most arguments aren't about reaching enlightenment. They're about ego, power, and the sweet taste of victory. That's the game, and now you've got the playbook to dominate it. These tactics aren't just tools, they're weapons. Whether you're at a family dinner, in a boardroom, or sparring on social media, you now know how to stay ahead, anticipate their moves, and keep control of the narrative. Obliterating your opponents isn't just about logic, it's about outthinking, outmaneuvering, and outlasting them. But here's the twist. You're not just a better debater now, you're also harder to fool. Once you know how the tricks work, you can spot them a mile away. When someone tries to build a straw man or overwhelm you with jargon, you'll recognize it for what it is, a cheap parlor trick. And guess what? You'll be ready to flip the script. The truth is, debates are less about the truth and more about the show. People aren't just listening for facts, they're watching for charisma, confidence, and control. That's why these tactics work so well. It's not about being right, it's about being convincing. And now you have everything you need to walk into any argument and leave with your head held high, whether you're defending your favorite pizza topping or staking your claim on a major issue. So, use these techniques wisely, or don't. Either way, you'll win. But remember this: the moment you choose to wield these tools, you carry responsibility. Just because you can dominate a debate doesn't mean you always should. Sometimes, the real win is stepping back, listening, and valuing connection over conquest. That said, if you're going into battle, go all in. And if you ever find yourself on the receiving end of these tactics, don't panic. Stay calm. Spot the tricks for what they are. Whether they're moving goalposts, playing the victim, or drowning you in a sea of common sense, you'll know exactly how to counterattack. Because now, you're not just a better arguer, you're untouchable. Mic drop. Walk away. Let them remember you, not just as the hero of the moment, but as someone who mastered the art of the argument itself. If you like this video, hit the like button. It helps others find this content, and that helps me too. If you're new here, consider subscribing. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.